Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Water-type. So today, we got a new Weavile to have a look at, ladies and gentlemen. This has been revealed on the official YouTube channel over in Japan. It has been translated by the lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net. And it is a Water-type Weavile. Now, look. We do occasionally get Water-type Weaviles. Weavile is an Ice type. Ice comes around as water in the Pokemon TCG, so it does happen occasionally, but it's kind of rare. By which I mean, of the 11 Weavile that have been released in English since its debut in Diamond and Pearl, we have had precisely one Water-type Weavile. And even then, it had an ability that turned it into a Darkness type. I mean, come on. It was kind of a cool ability. It actually turned any of your active Pokemon into darkness, whether it was Weavile or not, and it was completely darkness energy, so, wasn't really the most reliable Water-type Pokemon we've ever seen, but it's the closest we've ever had to a Water-type Weavile, so, that'll have to do. Well, if we look at this new Weavile, it also uses darkness energy. Yeah, Weavile apparently, not a fan, if I'm honest with you. Not a fan of being a water type. But it is technically a water type Pokemon. And this is actually really good because it means you can put it in a darkness deck playing darkness energy while still hitting for a water weakness. That's pretty cool. So we have a look at the basics then. It's got 90 HP, which is somewhat low. It does have free retreat. Free retreat is awesome. We like free retreat. It's always handy, especially after something like a KO. And it's got a weakness to metal, which, I'm going to be honest with you, right? Weakness to metal's not a huge deal at the moment. We're not seeing many metal decks around at the moment. And bearing in mind, if we ever do see metal decks, then they have a weakness to fire, including stuff like Reshiram and Charizard, for instance. So, yeah, this is a pretty good weakness to have. And it's a good typing to have. I've literally only just finished telling you about how fire Pokemon are really good at the moment. Well, now you get to hit all of them for weakness. Although, annoyingly, you're not able to use Quagsire to move water energy to you because you're attacking for darkness energy. You can, however, use Weavile GX, and it's on the same evolution line, so getting the energy onto Weavile's not going to be difficult. So what does it actually do? Well, the first attack here for 1 darkness energy, search your deck for any 2 cards, put them into your hand, shuffle your deck. Cool. That's quite nice, actually. That's twins, or teammates, or a million other cards we've had over the years. Crash Awake, if you want to go a little bit more recent. What's funny is that Crash Awake is designed to be used with water Pokemon, but even though Weavile's a water Pokemon, Crash Awake searches for any 2 cards when you discard water energy, and as previously mentioned, Weavile's probably going to be using darkness energy. But you just get to search yourself any 2 cards, put them straight into your hand. This is pretty nice. You can go grab yourself a rare candy in a stage 2, let's say Vikavolt. I've not been able to get it working in a consistent manner. I've not been able to make it particularly good, but I have been loving playing around with Vikavolt since it came out in Unbroken Bonds. And that's going to help you out quite nicely. You can search yourself a couple of Custom Catcher to give yourself some guaranteed gusting next turn. You can grab yourself, let's say, Professor Oak's Setting, so that you can search free basic Pokemon of different types. And then maybe you also grab yourself a Duskstone so that you can evolve next turn. That could be fun. And in fact, Professor Oak's Setting does put the Pokemon straight onto your bench, so you could just search for whatever Pokemon you wanted to evolve into. This can help you set up, but here's my reservation. You're a Stage 1 Pokemon. Being a Stage 1 Pokemon kind of sucks. This is a kind of attack we want on a basic Pokemon. This is an, it's turn 1, I've got nothing, what am I going to do kind of attack. That's what this works for. This works so much worse on a stage 1, because best case scenario, you go first, your opponent has a turn where they're able to attack, and then you get a turn. And then you use this to search any 2 cards, then your opponent has a turn. By the time you actually get around to using the cards you searched out with Weavile, your opponent has had 2 turns. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's not ideal. If you go second, they have a turn, you get your Sneasel. They have a turn, you evolve up into Weavile and get the cards. They have a turn, you can use them. They've had 3 turns, 2 of which they can attack on, before you get a chance to actually use the card you searched out with Weavile. That, ladies and gentlemen, is potentially a problem, because it's too slow. Now, maybe you're playing some kind of blocking deck. Maybe you're not trying to do a whole bunch of damage. Maybe a large part of your goal is to use something like a Magikarp and Wailord, and your opponent doesn't get a KO. Fine. Except you've got 90 HP, so you're probably giving up a prize in a deck that's trying not to give up prizes. Maybe if you're planning to go behind on prizes, then you can put this up and search for cards and go behind on prizes, and then take advantage of stuff like Counter Gain or Martial Arts Dojo or Lieutenant Surge's strategy. And then the fact that you're basically sacrificing a Weavile doesn't matter, but if you want to go behind on prizes, we've got Miss Magius. And we've got the Magneton I showed you the other day, whereby you can KO it, give your opponent a prize, but then search for any free supporter cards and put them into your hand. My point here very simply is that I don't know when you're using this attack, because early in the game you haven't got it evolved up. By the time you have got it evolved up, your opponent's already had a couple of turns, and if you're just deliberately sacrificing it, we've got better cards to deliberately sacrifice. Put yourself behind on prizes while not giving up an attack and also getting arguably a better benefit. So, not loving it. I will say that in a pre-release, this is phenomenal and I adore it. And maybe if you're playing the GX Weavile anyway, maybe you put one of these in for emergencies. If you're having a really bad game and you really can't get anything going, then you can just maybe grab your Weavile and search out some supporters and get going. If you're playing Sneasel anyway, I could see an argument, but it is a spurious argument at best, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as for the second attack, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not terribly impressed. Darkness, colourless, 100 damage, but here's the thing, and I think here is a reason to play Weavile. You're hitting arguably the best weakness in the game right now, because you're hitting weakness on stuff like Blacephalon, and Reshiram and Charizard and Braixen, etc. That's awesome, and I think that's the reason to play this. Because in Darkness decks, getting the energy isn't a problem. We got the Naganadel from Lost Thunder, which can attach Darkness energy from the discard pile to itself. And then you can move it over to your active using Weavile. In Darkness decks, you're already playing Weavile GX at the moment. So playing 1 or 2 of these non-GX Weavile is literally 1 or 2 spaces in your deck. That is not a problem at all. And now you're hitting a great weakness. That's the reason to play this. Now, Blacephalon GX, yes, you're getting a one-hit KO. Any of the non-GXs, even the beefier things like Arcanine, yes, you're getting a one-hit KO. But the Tag Team GXs, you're not. You're hitting 220. And both Charizard and Braixen and Reshiram and Charizard have 270. So you're going to have needed to have done a little bit of damage. Now, the good news is that you do have something like Umbreon and Darkrai, which can do 60 damage to a benched EX or GX. The problem is, if you're doing that, you've got Mega Sableye and Tyranitar that does 210 and takes an extra prize. And alright, it's for 2 more energy on a Pokemon that gives up 3 prizes rather than 1, but it also takes an extra prize when it KOs, so maybe you could consider doing that instead. If you're playing a Darkness deck, you're playing Weavile, so it's worth putting one of these in as a 1-card tech to hit a really good weakness. The first attack, maybe in an emergency or in a pre-release, yes. but generally speaking, the first attack is going to be too slow. There is one reason to play this Weavile, and that is very simply to hit water weakness in a darkness deck, and as I've said a couple of times, but it bears repeating, because you're playing Weavile anyway, it's a very easy tech. So let's give it free Wassies. You want a couple copies in your binder just in case, and that, my friends, is a definition of a free Wassie card. But I'd like to know how high you are on this Weavile, so please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice, and then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.